Hi, my name is Angie, and this is Reads with A and A. So, again, my name is Angie, and the other gal you'll see on this channel, her name is Ashton. We're two long distance best friends. We've known each other for pretty much all of our lives. I believe we initially met in the 5th grade, and now we're both 24. So, it's been a really fun ride, and we decided to start a YouTube and a TikTok together because we love to discuss books. And we've had our own two-person book club for literally 2 years at this point, and we thought we should probably start branching it out with other people, and because it would just make life a little bit more fun. So without further ado, my opening video to this channel is going to be a number generator choosing how many pages that I read for the day. Now, you'll frequently see us in separate videos because, again, we are long distance. We're about 5 hours apart from each other. I'll have my own videos, she'll have her own videos, but they'll all be on this channel. And then a couple times a month, we will FaceTime and do videos that way. And a couple times a year, when we see each other, we'll do videos in person, which we're super excited about. And the first read of this video is going to be Funny Story by Emily Henry. In case you have absolutely no clue what this book is about, we're following our main female character, Daphne, and her fiance, Peter. They had the perfect meet cute. He's funny, he's handsome, he has the money to make their lives comfortable, and he has great parents. She thinks she has the perfect life for herself. That is until Peter comes home from his bachelor party and states he slept with his girl best friend Petra. Not only that, he's in love with her, and Daphne has a week to move out. Now, this is a blow to Daphne. She did not expect this or see this coming, and she has no clue where she's going to go. That is until Miles comes in and he's looking for Petra just to find out that they did really leave together. And that's when she gets the bright idea to ask if she can move into Miles's apartment. So that's kind of where our story starts. And we follow Miles and Daphne as they move on through the grieving process and life together. And I'm about 60 pages in, and honestly, he's already so sweet. This truly has 5-star potential already, and I just cannot wait to see where this book goes. So with that being said, we're going to be making some progress into that book today. And we're going to be starting off with spinning our wheel. So with my number generator, I did anywhere from 25 pages to 400. 400 is extremely ambitious for me, and I really don't want to get it, but at the same time, that would help me make an amazing dent in my TBR. So we'll look at it as a blessing if I do get that many. All right, so 250 pages. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so we're going to remove that choice so that I can't get 250 again. And honestly, it's not bad. I could have got 400. So there's always tomorrow. It is Sunday. It is 6:30 p.m. But I will be staying up to read 250 pages tonight. And I will see you guys for that check-in. Hello, it is currently Monday, and we were successful. We read 250 pages of Funny Story by Emily Henry yesterday. So we are officially on page 312, which means we only need about 60-ish pages now to finish this book. I am super duper stoked. I'm still loving it, and honestly, I'm shocked because, and don't kill me, I did not like Happy Place. Maybe it was because I was expecting something different, but I did not have high hopes for this, but it sounded so good, so I decided to pick it up on a whim, and I am so glad I did. I will definitely review this in a later video, maybe even in this video. And I truly think we may have a 5-star on our hands. I highly recommend this book. Miles is superior, for sure. Okay, so I'm about to spin, and just so you guys remember, yesterday we deleted 250 and it repopulated. So if we get it again, we will be skipping 250. So again, these numbers range anywhere from 25 to 400. Without further ado, here we go. Hi. I am about to go to bed, but I did just want to drop in and let you guys know that I did finish Funny Story by Emily Henry. I do apologize that the spinner wheel is the last thing you saw from that last clip. I had recorded more. It was mostly just me yapping, but I forgot to pick up the microphone, so I was completely muted. So those 75 pages ended up being the last 75 pages of the book. It worked out perfectly because there was only 75 pages left. So that could not have been better. So with that being said, I was able to finish Funny Story last night. I absolutely adored this book. Now, I didn't end up giving it 5 stars. I can't really say why because it's towards the end. But one thing I can say is it literally I hated the amount of times that the word chortled was used in reference to laughing. I thought, it was used like once and then I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. And then it was used twice and I was like, that's odd. That's an odd way to word it. And then it was like 7 times and I was like, oh my word. Every time I read the word, it took me out of the story just a little bit more. So I don't know. That was odd for me. And then there's just a couple minor details towards the end that I didn't really like. Sorry, my hair just fell out of my makeshift bun. Whatever. But other than that, absolutely loved it. Now, even though it's not a 5-star, it's very, very close to a 5-star. And drum roll, please. It's a 4.5. What I love so much about Funny Story is it's not just a romance. It's a story of friendship, found family, and just discovering yourself. And I just loved to watch our main character Daphne grow throughout the novel. She went from being scared to do things on her own to choosing to do things on her own. And I just thought that was actually beautiful, because that's just one thing I struggle with a lot is doing things on my own. I always have to have my husband with me or my friends with me. And honestly, this book was just an inspiration to me, as well as just being a beautiful love story. We finished our first book yesterday, Funny Story by Emily Henry. We're going to be moving on to Girl Abroad by Elle Kennedy. So, I'm notorious for never reading what a book's about before I buy it. I see one good review and it's in my cart. It's pretty evident by the shelves. So, I'm going to read to you what this book is about so we can learn together. When 19-year-old Abby Bly gets the opportunity to study abroad for a year in London, it's the perfect chance to finally slip out from under the thumb of her beloved but overbearing retired rock star father. She's ready to be free, to discover herself, but first off, to meet the girls that she's rooming with. That is, until she arrives at her gorgeous new flat, to discover the roommates are actually boys. Charming, funny, insufferable, attractive boys, and off limits with a rollicking It is Wednesday, and I didn't update you guys last night because I didn't make the goal. Unfortunately, I only got 100 pages in yesterday. I got another 50 in on my lunch break. So we're currently sitting at 150 exactly. Um, but I have no shame because I'm going to catch up. So this week to me is about getting as much off my TBR as I can, but I'm not going to be disappointed. But I will catch up. My whole goal is to catch up if I don't. So today, no matter the number I'm getting, I'm tacking 175 pages onto my TBR because I was supposed to read 325. I got to page 150. So that's 175 more pages. I really hope I don't get 400 or a high number like that. But if I do, we might just have to repeat this process tomorrow. The thing is, I can't bring myself to stay up all night because I work a full-time job. So I stay up till about 9 to 10 p.m. reading, and sometimes I'm not even able to start reading till about 7 p.m. So, regardless, we are going to be reaching our page count by Saturday night. Saturdays, I'm off work. Friday nights, I'm off work. So if I need to, I will stay up all night Friday night. And I don't see it as like I'm upset that I have to read. Like, I'm really enjoying this challenge. It's super fun for me, and I just want to keep going and keep doing this. And honestly, this is the most fun I've had in a long time with reading. My goal with Girl Abroad was to get to page 325 because yesterday was my first day starting the book. There is only about 415 pages in this book. If I get 100 or more pages today, we will be starting a third book. And I am stoked. Okay, so that's enough yapping. Let's get into spinning this wheel. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. What am I gonna do? So, I feel like I'm an average reader. I read about a page a minute. So in a 60-minute span, I read about 60 to 70 pages if I don't get distracted. It is currently 6:17 on Wednesday. Like I said, I read till about 9 to 10, but I also have a child. I also have a house and a full-time job. So, we're going to do what we can. And if we don't make it, we will be reading in the morning, on our lunch break, and after work again tomorrow. And again, I'm not disappointed. I'm having so much fun. We are currently on day 5 of this challenge, which means that we are almost done. I am super excited. This has been super fun, but I have definitely been spending all my nights reading. Last night, I finished Girl Abroad by Elle Kennedy at about 11 p.m. Now, this is my first Elle Kennedy book, and honestly, I'm not the biggest fan. I do have The Deal on my shelves as well, so I'm really hoping I like that one because I do want to read it since I do own it. For starters, I really liked the way Elle Kennedy writes her stories. It honestly kept me entertained even in the boring parts, which was really good. I just don't think I truly liked the concept of the book or how some scenes were played out. So, our main character is in a love triangle throughout the book, and we follow her try to navigate relationships while studying abroad and also decide who she just ultimately wants to be with. I don't necessarily have a problem with the storyline of the love triangle. It's more how it was played out. Without spoilers, I can say that there is talks of cheating. It doesn't necessarily go past flirting. However, I truly didn't enjoy that. And then on top of that, one of the men, yes, he realizes the relationship is casual, but she doesn't explicitly tell him she is seeing another guy as well. So I truly did not enjoy that aspect. One thing that I really did enjoy is there was a mystery element to this book that I really wasn't expecting. And we kind of solved the mystery with our main character, and it's honestly a really good mystery, and I enjoyed it. And I thought the conclusion to that wrapped up really nicely, which is awesome. I also think that the dad in the beginning of the book is seen as this overprotective man. He can't go 2 seconds without texting his daughter. But then there would be like 50 to 100 page gaps where he just like drops out of the book, doesn't even check in. And I'm like, how is he this overprotective dad if he's not? Or the points that he would check in, it would be completely overbearing. But then there we go, another 50 to 100 pages where we don't hear from him again. So to me, that just, it didn't match up very well. I didn't really like that. And I did definitely prefer one of the relationships over the other. And honestly, I don't even think that the book needed to be a love triangle. I think we could have excluded that other character and the story would have wrote itself. But overall, I did enjoy the concept. I just didn't enjoy a lot of the scenes. I'm still undecided about a rating for this book because, like I said, I'm kind of going back and forth. I really liked it, but I also really hated it and was ready to DNF it. So I guess we'll decide later on. Anyway, so now that today we have started our next book, which is Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. There's not really much going on yet. The disappearance of his wife has already happened, which is detailed on the synopsis. I have about 167 pages left to catch up from the past 2 days of reading, which I do not feel like is bad because yesterday we were sitting at like 500, so 167 is very doable. I'm just hoping not to get another huge number today. Alright, so let's go ahead and spin this wheel. I think this game hates me. Alright, so we are reading an additional 300 pages. So, Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney is only 304 pages. So we will be starting our fourth book once I finish this. I am off work tomorrow. Me and my husband are going to get tattoos. But the tattoos are really early in the morning and we have to grocery shop tonight. So I'm really hoping to get things done. But I don't know how far I'm going to get tonight. But like I said, I will catch up on Saturday, if nothing else. But I will be reading as much as possible today. I do have to clock back into work soon. But I don't know what the fourth book I want to read is because I don't know what I'm going to want to read after this thriller. I'm hoping it's really good. If it is, I might want to read a different genre. But if it's not, maybe I'll want to read another thriller. We'll just have to see. So let's get into it. It is now Friday, and I am going to announce the most unfortunate news about this challenge. I didn't read yesterday. Now, I know what you might be saying. Angie, you have so many pages to read. What? Why? Why didn't you read? And to that, I say my mom visited, and it's hard to read when she's talking. And also, when she left, I was just too tired. And then today, this morning, I got my tattoo and I was planning to read there, and my tattoo artist likes to yap. However, so do I. So it worked out, okay? I got my first official tattoo and I am stoked about it, okay? I'm going to cover up my son's name for privacy reasons, but you can get the gist of it. How absolutely stunning. Okay, in love. In love. I think I'm gonna have a problem because, like I said, this is my first tattoo, and now in my head I have to plan 27 more. But I digress. So let's get on with this video because, like I said, I'm a yapper. Okay. So we were supposed to read, I believe it was 485 pages. I'm not sure the exact number, but I did calculate it out for what I have left to read. So today, this morning, I did manage to read 65 pages. So I have 420 left to go, plus whatever I spend today. And like I said, no matter if I have to stay up all night tonight or all night tomorrow, I will meet goal by the end of the challenge, which is Sunday morning. Okay, but I'm planning to beat the challenge by Saturday night. So like I was saying, I'm 65 pages into Beautiful Ugly, and maybe a different day I would be really interested in this. The concept's really interesting. We've already, the part where the wife disappears happens in the first chapter, and then by like the third chapter we're already in this remote island and he's already seeing glimpses of his wife. I really don't know what's happening. I can't decide if the book is going too fast or if there's like a different story to tell. But I do appreciate that everything that was discussed in the synopsis happens in the first few chapters, because a lot of books don't do that. So the fact that this one does, it gets my brownie points for that. I'm just hoping the story becomes more interesting for me and I start to enjoy it, because I really, really like thrillers, and this one just doesn't have that chokehold on me yet. So like I said, I have 420 pages to catch up, and this book is only 304, which means I'm gonna have to get 116 pages into the next book, plus whatever I spend today. So let's go ahead and spin this wheel before I announce what we're starting next. Okay, 200 pages. Piece of cake. At this point, piece of cake. Like I said, I'm actually truly, truly not upset. I will be reading all night, and most of tomorrow as well, and especially depending on the pages I get for this last day. But I have flew through books this week, and I am loving it. The next book I am going to be reading in this challenge, more than likely, is an author that not everybody seems to like. I see a lot of things saying throw her books in the trash. I have enjoyed some of her reads. I have not enjoyed some of her reads, but because this one is because this one is popular this year and it's been made into a movie, I kind of miss the hype about it, and I kind of want to read it and see what it's about. Plus, I got this book on Book Outlet, and I got it during their $5.99 sale, so I did not spend a lot on it. And the book is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. It's the exclusive collector's edition. So like I said, I don't truly know what this book's about. And if you're in the same boat as me, let me just read a brief synopsis of what this book is about. Sometimes the one who loves you is the one who hurts you the most. Lily hasn't always had it easy, but that's never stopped her from working hard for the life she wants. She's come a long way from the small town in Maine where she grew up. She graduated college, moved to Boston, and started her own business. When she feels a spark with a gorgeous neurosurgeon named Ryle Kincaid, Everything in Lily's life suddenly seems too good to be true. Ryle is assertive, stubborn, maybe even a little arrogant. He's also sensitive, brilliant, and has a total soft spot for Lily. But Ryle's complete aversion to relationships is disturbing. As questions about her new relationship overwhelm her, so do thoughts of Atlas Corrigan, her first love, and the link in the past she had left behind. He was a kindred spirit, her protector. When Atlas suddenly reappears, everything Lily has built with Ryle is threatened. With this bold and deeply personal novel, Colleen Hoover delivers a heart-wrenching story that breaks exciting new grounds for her as a writer. After reading that, I can let you know that I don't tend to like books like this. I seem to rate them very poorly, or just DNF. So I'm really hoping that this one changes the game for me and I like it. You can drop in the comments if you've liked any of these books that I've read or how you feel about any of these books. But I will be making my way through this book. So I said that after I finished that book, I would have 116 pages. And then plus 200. So I need to read 216. No. I would have 116 plus 200. So I need to read 316. This book is 373 pages, which means I will be very close to finishing this book by this time tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to head off and go read these books, and I will let you know my thoughts when I get anywhere, hopefully. So since our last check-in, I finished Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. I do think that it was a really good read, and it wrapped up really nicely, but it did take me about 1/3 of the book to go into it. Now, I'm not going to discuss the details because I feel like anything at this point can be a spoiler, but I will say that I felt like the plot twists were really great. I think that they made sense and that it was really, really interesting. I also like that I felt like we were kept in the dark a majority of the story, and I highly recommend it. Now, I am only giving it a 3.5 because it did take me so long to get into it, and it wasn't my favorite thriller. But I do recommend that if you like thrillers, this might be one to pick up. But just I would advise to go into it blind. So I have finished Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney, and I am 50 pages or so away from finishing It Ends With Us. I don't want to give my thoughts on this yet just because we are so close to the end, so I just want to go ahead and spin the wheel, see what we get, and finish this book off. Well, how absolutely convenient that is. Great. It was 25. So we're just going to go ahead and finish this book, and I will update you in just a minute. Okay, so I have finished It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover, and it was very impactful. I would say I loved it, but I can't say I love what happened in it. But the story itself was very good. I highly, highly recommend reading the trigger warnings before reading this book. But the way the storyline plays out was very, it made me very self-aware. Because when you see this girl go through the abuse that she went through, she constantly says stuff to herself like, I will never allow this to happen to me when I'm an adult. And then when she's an adult and it is happening to her, she's rationalizing because this guy is not her father. And I just think that speaks numbers because a lot of us are like that. We're like, well, that's not my father. Like, that's not my best friend. But they act the same way. And you also kind of can feel how she feels towards the abuser. Because it's like, well, it wasn't on purpose. At least that's how I felt while I was reading it. I could feel from both sides. And ultimately, when the end of the book happened, I kind of felt bad for him. And I know I shouldn't have. So I would say it is extremely impactful. I cried a majority of the way through the book. I like how the end turned out. Again, if you are going to read it, I would recommend going ahead and reading the trigger warnings first. It is very, very important that you know this book contains a lot of abuse. And, well, that's the end of the week worth of spinning the wheel to see how many pages I'm going to read. This week's reading challenge was so fun, and I absolutely want to do it again. I have other video ideas that are coming up in the next few coming weeks that I would definitely recommend that you check out, and I'm sure Ashton has some that she will be posting on this channel as well. Double the content, double the fun. We read 4 books this week, and that was a really great reading week for me. I had a lot of fun, and I am hoping to catch you guys next time. Also, feel free to check out our TikTok, same username, Reads with AA. We have a lot of fun over there as well. So, bye y'all.